Before we get into health, chiropractic, or books, I want to start somewhere more important. This show is about fathers, but it's really about men. The kind of men who carry responsibility, who try to do things the right way, and who often put themselves last while taking care of everyone else. Today's guest is Ben Page. He's a husband, a father, and a man who believes your body is built to heal if you stop ignoring it and start respecting it. But before we talk about how he helps people heal, I want to talk about who he is. Who he is when the title comes off, who he is at home, and who he is when no one's watching. Because how you live as a man shapes how you show up as a father, and how you show up as a father determines everything else.
Don't move. Keep it locked.
You already know.
You're listening to the Forfeit Fatherhood podcast. And we're having conversations with dope dads covering the 4 pillars of fatherhood. We call it the Fit Fatherhood Formula: faith, family, finance, and fitness. That's right. These dads are setting the pace in business and fatherhood. This show isn't only about the outside success. We're getting down to who you are. Gentlemen, it's time to get fit. And now, let's get into the show.
All right, welcome back to the Forfeit Fatherhood podcast, a podcast for fathers by fathers, where we talk about the 4 pillars of fatherhood, which are faith, family, finance, and fitness. And I'm excited to have this guest on today because I always like to hear, things of fatherhood from different perspectives and getting to hear different people and their journey in fatherhood and seeing kind of how we have these through lines in fatherhood. But before we talk about health or healing or any of that, I want people to understand who my next guest is, not his title, but who he is as a man and a father. So when people hear doctor or entrepreneur, they tend to make assumptions. Let's strip all that away. Who is Ben Page at his core?
Exactly. I am a father and I'm a husband. Of course, I'm a chiropractor and I'm an entrepreneur. But above all, I'm a father and I am a son of God also. And my hope is to be the person that my sons and daughters will look up to eventually. I've been at this for 20 years now. My oldest son turns 20 on March 10th, and I have a 2-year-old. So I've got a lot of experience, and the coolest thing about it is I've had a new experience and a wonderful, miraculous blessing he was, because we've been waiting for him for 13 years. So it's not like it was it's something it was a miraculous, wonderful news that we were able to know that we were going to have that third child that we were always looking for. I've been able to truly take advantage of it because now I know how fast it goes. I have a son that's 20 years old out. He's out there and he's out sharing the gospel. And now I have this 2-year-old that I can actually take really advantage of. And I wish I can go back and do with my first son, but it can't happen. But now I get that experience and I get to bring it to my new one. But yeah, as a father, that's my goal, is to provide, protect, and to preside with my wife. And if we can do that together, I think we'll be all right.
Yeah. Awesome. So I got to ask you then, with the gap being the way it is, if you look back at when your oldest was around the same age as your youngest, do you see yourself doing things differently?
100, maybe not 100%, but oh yeah, I am definitely trying to enjoy the moments I have with them, because I know now how fast they fly. They just go by way too fast. I remember when he was a kid, and I don't know what's right, what's wrong, but we were able to teach him at a young age I would read him a story and then he'd go to bed and I'd leave. With this one, I kind of want to, but at the same time, I know it's going to end. So I'm not rushing it. I go in there, I read the stories before we go to bed. Then I ask him, do you want me to go or do you want me to stay with you? And every night he says, stay with me. So I stay with him until he falls asleep. And that's another 45 minutes to an hour that I could use doing something else, like growing a business. But I was like, it's going to be gone sooner or later. So I might as well just stay in here, be with him until he falls asleep. And sometimes I fall asleep with him and then I get out 2 hours later. I'm like all groggy and zombie-like, but it's something I look at it totally different. I look at it as these are moments I need to cherish instead of I need this time to be able to do something else. Like when I had my son when he was 2 years old, I was right in the middle of chiropractic college. I was going to bed at 8, waking up at 1, studying till 6, going to college. I wouldn't come back till 6 at night. I'd be with him for 2 hours, and then I'd be off to bed, waking up at 1 o'clock in the morning to study again. And it was just it's a lot different now. Yeah, 100% a lot different. Not 100% different. We're still trying to be the best father we can, discipline wise, and helping understand what's good and what's wrong, and with his age, of course. But a lot different. Yes, a lot different.
Yeah, and I imagine too with the times, just times being different in the way we kind of, just looking back at maybe 20 years ago, the way you parented as like what was good parenting 20 years ago versus what's quote unquote good parenting now, and then having that perspective or at least that lens to kind of look at it is like maybe not things maybe not negatively like looking at maybe things you did wrong, but like things you would do better or things that you would, like you say, embrace a little bit more. And that got me thinking. They have like the Facebook memories. Um, I think it was Wednesday. One of the memories popped up, and it was my daughters and I have two daughters. We had a tea party, and I think it was like 4 years ago, but it was the last time we had a tea party. And I don't remember, like, you know what I mean? At that time that we had it, I didn't know it was going to be the last time. And we had a ball, like watching the video back. We had a great, I don't think it was 4 years, maybe it was 2 years ago. But we had a great time in the video. Like I just remember it like it was yesterday, and then got a little sad. Like, man, we haven't done that. Like that was the last time. And I didn't know it was the last time. And like, if I could do it again, maybe I would have we would have had a longer tea party, would have turned into a tea dinner. Like we would have had a whole thing, we made it a whole thing. But it's funny because you're right. We don't know when it's going to be the last time. We don't know when they're going to stop asking us to stay a little longer or to read us, even read the bedtime story. They're like, oh, Dad, I got it. I can go to sleep without that tonight. And so it is important, to lean into those moments and really spend that time with them.
Yeah, 100%. I never know. There might be one night where you're like, yeah, I'll go to sleep alone tonight. It's like, and I'll be like, good, but at the same time, like, oh man, you want to be alone? I can stay with you a little bit more. But at the same time, like I said, it will give me some time back, but it's got to take advantage of them.
When you were with your oldest, you say you were in chiropractors and you were in the middle of school.
Yeah.
And so that's obviously a lot different than where you are now. But I can imagine, right? It's still like you're still going to work, you're still providing. You kind of talked a little bit about how you were kind of setting up your time then. How are you doing that differently now? Because I mean, chiropractic school obviously is very busy, but if you got, you're an author and you got a business and you got, you have all the things still. So how are you managing that now?
Yeah, that's a constant. I mean, I'm still struggling to learn how to manage my time properly. So yeah, I work at a clinic 8 hours a day. I have a business, and then yeah, I want to be the best father and husband I possibly can. Those are the priorities, and at the same time, those are probably the least amount of hours I'm actually using with them or being there for them. One thing I would say is early mornings. That's my key. That's the time. So 5 o'clock in the morning is when I get up, and that's the time I have to work on business. That's the time I have to work on business until my son gets up. Or if he doesn't get up at 6:30, I start to wash the dishes, whatever comes first. So an hour and a half to focus on business, and then I'm with him until I go, because he usually wakes up way before my wife, so it's just me and him just chilling until my wife gets up. We drink something because my wife's from Argentine. My mom's, I have a lot of Argentine. My mom's Argentine, so first thing we do is drink mate together, and then I usually head off to the job until I can eventually let that go and just focus 100% on the business, because it's still just, it's not a side hustle, it's a business, but it's not what brings in the majority of the money yet. So I still go to the job and then work as a chiropractor. And eventually, hopefully, I can leave that and just focus on the job and then really focus on my family because there's a lot of things I'd like to do. Mainly being home with my son to be the one that's teaching him. I would like to be his teacher. So the goal is to get to a point where I can actually be at home and also be his teacher. I would like to homeschool my son, make sure he doesn't go to the public school system. But to answer your question, it's
Okay.
tough. I mean,
All
yeah,
right.
it's
Yeah,
it's
that
still tough.
you there? Got you.
Yeah, yeah, I'm here. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. I thought the winter storm might have taken you out.
no, not yet, not yet. No,
um
I just finished off saying that. Yeah, it's a work in progress, learning how to manage my time properly, where so everything gets the proper amount of time. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the infinite game, right? Because I think that happens forever, right? You're always kind of managing your time and trying to be as effective and efficient with the time you have because we all have the same 24 hours, and we're trying to do everything we can with them to maximize our profits and our potential and our purpose and all of the things. And that's something that we kind of continue to struggle with, but it's also to some extent one of the only things we can control, right? Because we know, right, knowing that it's a finite amount of time, we have the ability to prioritize the things that are important in that time. And you mentioned, like, obviously you got to go to work, right? Because you got to pay bills. And right now, going to work is paying the majority of the stuff. So that part, that chunk of time is already accounted for. Now, what do you do with the rest of it? Like, how do you show up as a business owner? How do you show up as a husband? How do you show up as a father? That's decided by you in that remaining time. Obviously, you got to sleep, and you get 6 to 8 hours of sleep if you can. Um, and then the rest of that time has got to be devoted to the people who are most important to you, including yourself.
100%. Yeah. Sometimes that does fall on the back burner, unfortunately. Yeah. Especially as fathers. We let that go. We definitely no, not especially as fathers, but as parents. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I find myself at times like kind of falling off and not doing what I need to do. Just because, right? Because life gets in the way and we start doing stuff and things are lining up. But as even as like dedicated to my schedule and blocking things and having my calendar like kind of be set up exactly the way I want to, there's always something that like throws a monkey wrench in things and messes me up. And you got to get back to it and try to figure out exactly how to make, like I say, the most of the time.
I would, and about looking to like taking care of yourself and everything. I mean, yeah, it's right now I have so limited time. This is what I force myself to do physically. I wake up at 5 and I do at
Hmm.
least 10 minutes of motion. And then every day before I go take a shower, I do 25 two push-up burpees. I mean, that's pretty much all the time I have to dedicate to me at this moment in my life. But I am dedicating some time, and that's what's most important. Dedicate some time. I mean, I've dedicated my life to wellness and health for the last 18 years. And you look at all these people, and they're out there, and they're doing all this stuff, and you're like, why can't I do all this? And well, this is what I can do for myself right now. I know I can wake up and I can do 10 minutes of motion to
Hmm.
get me woken up and movement and stretching. And then I know I'll have enough time in between, like, so my shower's short because I cold shower. So I don't have to worry about the water heating up. So I take 5 to 10 minutes and do 25 two push-up burpees. And so that warms me up for the shower. I jump in the cold shower and then that's what I can do right now. That's what I can do right now. And you'll hopefully you find what works for you in this moment in life and that moment in life. But make sure you are doing something daily is of utmost importance. The little stuff done consistently is how you win.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Hey, I'm gonna pause really quick. I realize the charger for this computer isn't in here. It's in the other office. So give me 1 second.
Perfect.
All right. All right. All right. That's the downfall of editing in one room and recording in another. But so okay, so go back. You said you cold shower. Is that something that I would just say, let me just say why? Why cold shower?
um, we actually it doesn't even bother me anymore. Actually, I prefer it. But when I first started doing it, I was like, well, if we know we're going to suffer, why can't I pick what I'm going to suffer through? So at the very beginning, I just did it because I knew I was going to have to go through something difficult today. So I'll choose what I'm going to go through. Because if you don't choose, life will find something to help you suffer through. So I mean, life has hard moments, and I personally believe that a lot of times we can choose how we're going to suffer. And a lot of people do not like cold water. I actually prefer it now. I've been doing it for so long. I mean, I don't, that's 7 years when I started doing it. I just continued to do it. So I just cold shower just because it feels good now. I don't mind the cold shower even when it's freezing outside. When I first started doing it, it was actually when I was living in Argentina, and I would go play soccer and I'd come home and I'd take a shower outside, and it didn't matter if it was summer or winter. I would just go out and take a shower. I mean, sometimes I'd be freezing, shivering because I was in the middle of winter, but I would just go out and do it. And now it just became, it's just something I do. I just cold shower all the time. I don't, and it's not that I do it, again, I've studied health and wellness for the last 18 years. I don't do it for some health benefit. I just do it because at first I was like, well, if I'm going to have to suffer, I'm going to choose what I'm going to suffer through. And now I love it.
Yeah, I mean, look, they say that if you get the hard stuff out of the way, right, do the uncomfortable thing early, or choose your hardest. You chose two hard things, like the cold shower and burpees are two. You like you wake up and start your day with punishment, man. Um, but those are two really good ways to kind of shift your mindset on the day, right? Like you got the hard stuff out of the way. Now you kind of you're going downhill on everything else. Everything is kind of like if something bad happens, like I already did some tough stuff today, so I can handle what's coming next.
Yep. And one more thing that I'll make sure I do every day is once my wife gets up, I make the bed too. I remember listening to some admiral or something like that. It's like, you can have the worst day in your life, but if you come home and you see your bed made, it's like, at least I did one thing right today.
There you go. All right. I guess I got to add that in. I used to do it all the time, like, because it was just a habit from, being in my parents' house. You had to make your bed, get up in the morning, you had to make your bed. And then I got out of the habit of it just recently, honestly, just because like being busy, my wife would still be in the bed because I get up early, so she's still there and I'd be gone. And so I just kind of got out of the habit of it because I wasn't doing it. But I do agree when you come home and the bed is made, there's a different feeling, right? Like getting into the bed, and like when the covers are all tousled all over the place sucks. but,
100%. Yeah.
but a freshly made bed just has a certain, yeah, a freshly made bed just makes you feel different. All right, so some people will hear you say chiropractor, talk about chiropractors, and they think, and I go to chiropractor once a week now because I had some back stuff. But people think chiropractor, all I think is cracking necks, cracking backs. But what is it that you want people to kind of understand about what you really do as a chiropractor? Because I know it's different, right? But that's the perception is, oh, I got to get my back cracked, or I got to get my spine aligned, or whatever. But I know there's much more to being a chiropractor than just that.
100%. I think that's that's the smallest point of being a chiropractor is actually adjusting. Really, most chiropractors believe that you need to get adjusted like frequently. I'm not of that. Truly, I'm not of that thought process. I believe all medicine should be used um, for the shortest amount of time possible because the body heals itself. The body wants to heal itself. We just need to provide what it requires to heal itself. So injury requires motion, especially if it's soft tissue based. If you have a soft tissue injury, motion is how you heal that injury. That's how you make sure that the proper tissue is constructed in the area that was injured. So it's spinal injury, it's almost always ligament because that's what's between the joints. So that's what we're usually. So motion is how you're gonna heal that. Chiropractic can help with that in an acute situation. But as the human being, if we want to really make sure we heal properly and maintain that heal, we need to continue to move ourselves through time, and we need to make sure that our joints and we're strong and we're flexible. So my job is to help the patient understand that health is your responsibility, and what you need to do is make sure you provide your body what it requires to allow it to heal itself. Because again, you heal you. Nothing ever will heal you. I won't heal you as a chiropractor treating you. Doctors and their medicines and that won't heal you. Your body heals itself. If you're going to heal, it's going to be because of you. You are the powerful. You have all the potential, all the power to heal. My job is to help you understand what that is and how you can take advantage of that potential of who you are as a person with incredible power. I mean, people don't understand how wonderful their bodies actually are. People think their bodies are fragile, and I think chiropractic kind of does that too. Because like, no, you need to come in and see me all the time. Because if not, you're not gonna. No, your body is so strong and so powerful, and it has so much potential to heal. But in today's society, unfortunately, it's really hard to find what our body requires because we're constantly in a toxic state. If it's not emotional, if it's not physical, and it's toxic due to the fact just what we eat. I mean, just what we breathe in. So our body's in a very toxic state. So so it's hard to find what our bodies require to allow it to do what it does naturally, heal itself. So that's my job as a chiropractor, is to help you understand and help you give you tools to put your body in a situation and in the environment, externally and internally, that allows you to heal yourself. And if you can heal yourself, that's where long-lasting relief happens. That's where you get long-lasting relief, and not the return of pain. People always, they'll come in with a pain, it'll go away. But where does the pain usually come? Same place, over and over and over and over again, because you never fully heal. You get that scar tissue formation, you get that tearing, so it never fully heals. So you have to provide your body what it needs for the proper amount of time. I think that's another reason why healing is so hard. We have to be patient with our bodies. Patience is something that we just don't have anymore either. And if you want to truly heal, you have to be patient. You have to go through the time to allow your body to heal itself. Me as a chiropractor, I mean, right now, like, whoa, a chiropractor, you got a stiff neck? Yeah, I have a stiff neck. I mean, so I woke up last Saturday with a really stiff neck. So what do I have to do? I know I have to move it in certain planes. I have to stretch it. I have to continue to strengthen it. And then as I move it, and of course I use plants as medicine. We'll probably talk about that in just a little bit, but I use plants as medicine, especially for physical injuries, because that's what I work with more than anything, is physical injuries as a chiropractor. It takes time. It takes time. You got to realize that it's going to take time, and you have to provide your body what it requires for the proper amount of time to allow your body to do what it does naturally, which is heal itself and then eventually maintain. But healing is a process. Usually you'll know kind of when you're hitting that healing, because you'll feel a jump in energy, because it's a lot more easy for your body to maintain than it is to heal. It's a lot more energy intensive to heal. But that takes a long time. And people are not willing to provide their body what it requires for that proper amount of time. That's why we never get a full heal. My job is to try to teach that. It's very hard, especially in today's society.
For sure. We want everything to happen like right now. So a couple things I kind of want to pull out of that. You mentioned that plants are medicine. I've also seen you say that meat and fat are fuel, and could be, I guess, controversial, depending on who you are or what you're, where you stand on that side.
Mhm.
But what is it like? What do you actually mean when you say plants are medicine and fat, and meat and fat are fuel?
I mean, if you look at who we are as humans, I mean, since we've started, we've always started with the hunt. As humans, we've always started with the hunt. If we didn't get the hunt, that's when we looked for the tubers. That's when we looked for the leaves. That's when we looked for the berries. That's when we looked for something that would give us enough energy to get to the next day to look for the hunt. As humans, I mean, you can see so much. You can go back and you can see certain studies. There were certain studies that were cherry picked that said that certain things are not good for you to eat. But as human beings, and that's what I base it on. I base it on how I feel with what I do, and everyone's different. But on pretty much all humans, if you're consuming the majority of what you eat is animal fat and meat, you will feel a lot better. And if you are sick, if you're not feeling well, if you're metabolic sick, I highly recommend it. I highly, highly, highly recommend that you go to lots of animal fat and lots of meat. Um, I think so many people are scared of animal fat. They think that's what's going to cause so many problems. But if you really look into it, it's not fat. It's insulin and it's sugar what's going to spike insulin. Insulin is the primary cause. If you want arteries that are sticky, it's insulin. It has nothing to do with cholesterol. The cholesterol sticks just like everything else when your arteries are sticky. And what makes your arteries sticky? It's insulin. So decreasing that as much as you possibly can. If I had to say there's one superfood, again, this is my opinion through 18 years of studying, but if there's one superfood, it's probably animal fat. Animal fat is the superfood. I mean, not only does it give you energy and gives you the fuel that you need to get through the day, but it is chock full of nutrition too. So if that's something, and in plants, we've used them as human beings since the very beginning. They've been passed down from generation to generation up until 4 or 5 generations ago, where that kind of stopped and when pharmaceuticals kind of took over. But that's how people healed. If you injured yourself, you went to the plant in your backyard. I mean, you didn't even go to the plant across the country or on another continent. You went to the plant in your backyard, and those plants were passed down from generation to generation, and the knowledge was passed down, like you use this for that and you use for that when you injure yourself. And then they would truly thrive on animal fats and meats. And that's studying nutrition for the last 18 years. Because unfortunately, even as an alternative medicine chiropractic college, I got one class on nutrition. One class, that's it. One class, and if, I didn't learn anything. I didn't learn anything from it either. It had to all come from me looking and reading on the outside and people that I look up to that I've been able to learn from. And that's what I found. And again, I've been ups and downs too. I mean, I had a really hard time um, understanding this at the beginning because I was raised and I'm an avid gardener. I love permaculture. I love being out and I love growing vegetables. So I was like, stop eating vegetables and start eating a lot more fat and meat. I was like, but my garden? I was like, I love to garden. I still garden and I love to work with nature. So I'm always out there working with nature. I love being part of nature because I believe we truly heal through nature. I've written a whole book on it called Playing in the Dirt. But at the same time, I understand that if you want to thrive with proper nutrition, it's animal fat and meat. And I cannot wait to start to raise my own cattle, pigs, and chicken again to be able to do just that. I'm not there yet, but I will get there soon enough.
Nice, nice. So you mentioned your book Playing in the Dirt. You also have another book called The Four Pillars of Health. Um, we kind of share with us what the two books are about and kind of what we can expect to learn from either one.
So the four pillars of health is me trying to simplify health. I want to make it as simple as possible. So I talk about four things that we need to provide to our body, and then our body does everything else. Our body does all the hard work. If we can provide four things, so proper nutrition, proper motion, and then community, so who we are inside and who we have around us, and also the rest we get, I put that with motion. And if we can provide our bodies with what it requires in four simple pillars, our body does all the rest. It's basically, it's my philosophy on health and how to reach a proper human health and maintain it through time. And it just focuses on those things. So motion, diet, community and the whole mental aspect. I call it natural internal dialogue. So working on who you are on the inside. And I break that down using actually Dr. Miguel Ruiz's work. He's a well, I don't know if he's Toltec, but he studied the Toltec philosophy of the indigenous people in Mexico. And he basically brought it down to four things that we need to focus on. And if we can focus on those four things mentally, we become very strong internally and mentally too. So that chapter is mainly focused on that. It's, again, I'm on the shoulders of other giants. So what I wrote is just other things I've learned over the last 18 years to help simplify what I believe health truly is. And that's what the 4 pillars of health is. In playing in the dirt, I take my life experience and I put it into 8 ways nature has helped me heal myself. And when I say heal myself, it wasn't as much physically. So I, like most people, we have dark times in life. I was going through a really hard time emotionally. And I would have to say, I mean, I've always been pretty strong physically. My weak spot in my health has always been the emotional aspect. I break myself down because I just never think I'm enough. I'm not doing what I should be doing. I'm not being the best I can. It's a thing that I had to overcome, and I'm still overcoming it. It's not like here I am. I still have to consistently overcome it and beat that resistance every single day. But nature helped me so much of letting all that, take that boulder off my shoulder that's like, am I ever going to move forward? And nature allowed me to do that. I mean, I could share. I mean, it was the first garden I went back and did since living with my parents, because my parents always gardened. But when I kind of went off on my own, I stopped doing it. In college, I started getting back into I guess they call it the modern survivalism movement, and gardening is one, to be able to prepare for yourself. And I was like, I got to get back into this. And I didn't know it was going to help me so much emotionally, but I was walking around. I mean, I was a student, so I had no money. I was walking around. I'd see wood out to get thrown away, and I'd go knock on the person's door. It's like, hey, can I take this wood? It's like, sure, take the wood. So I would take that wood and I'd build planter boxes, because we were living in an apartment. So we didn't have any place to really plant a garden, but I wanted to plant something. So I took this wood, I built 2 planter boxes, and I planted 2 tomatoes and 3 peppers. And I just remember, I remember very well that just getting home from college and watering those plants for those 5 to 10 minutes made me feel so much better emotionally. And it was just, it's a small garden. I mean, I wasn't even playing really in the dirt. I had soil that I had bought that put in this planter boxes. So it doesn't have to be a huge garden. It can be something small, but nature is a great way to help us heal. And it's not just being there and touching it, but it explains 8 ways that nature has helped me heal me from the emotional aspect to the grounding aspect, where all the science in what is grounding and just getting outside and putting your bare feet on soil and what it does to who you are. I mean, if you just plant your feet on the ground for 30 minutes a day, you will be decreasing overall inflammation, because free radicals is what causes inflammation. That's what causes tissue damage. And what a free radical is it's something that's looking for an extra electron, because electrons always have to be paired. The ground is negatively charged. Our feet, every square inch of our feet, have 1,300 receptors for these electrons. It's like our roots. So these electrons enter our feet, or any part of our body really, and they go in and they neutralize these free radicals, which stops inflammation. Because if we can stop the free radical, if we can give it what it wants, the other electron, it won't go looking for it, breaking healthy tissue. I mean, it's nature and the sun are of utmost importance in our health as human beings. And most people are scared of the sun and they want to put on sunscreen. I would highly recommend don't. I would just highly recommend slowly adapt your skin to the sun. If you haven't been out for a long time, you need sun. Don't use it. Just slowly adapt it though, because if you're going to go out suddenly for 3 to 4 hours, you're going to turn red and you're going to burn. But if you slowly adapt over time, 15 minutes a day until you can take that, wonderful. You need sun. And yeah, go barefoot. I mean, just get outside and just put your feet on the ground and just let nature do what it does naturally. Let it heal you because it wants to. We just don't allow it anymore. We wear shoes everywhere. So so those are the two books. I mean, I can go into a little bit more if you want about the other aspects of how nature can heal us. I can go a little bit deeper in how we can provide our bodies what it requires to be able to heal naturally. We can go anywhere you want. I'd love to talk about what I use to heal myself faster. A plant-based medicine that I personally use that I'm pretty sure that your listeners can really get help from also. But
Yeah, yeah. You know, I was actually going to ask you about that. I know I was going to say that you obviously went to school for it and you've been kind of studying it on your own, but this comes from your own personal experience, right? Like, I think you broke your toe, and then you made a salve and kind of started to heal yourself. And tell us a little bit about that and kind of like how that process happened and what did you notice that changed?
yeah, this actually happened also living in Argentina. So like I said, I love nature. I love working with nature. I always have a garden. Wherever I go, I plant something. Everywhere I go. And I always take Comfrey with me because I use Comfrey as my garden fertilizer. Comfrey is a plant. It's a dynamic
Okay.
accumulator. It mines minerals out of the soil and brings it up into its leaves and its roots. So what I did originally with Comfrey is I'd plant it around my garden beds. I'd plant it around my fruit trees. And whenever the leaves would come out, I would just cut the leaves and put them around my fruit trees, or I'd cut the leaves and throw them in my garden beds. And I'd use it as a natural fertilizer for my garden, so I didn't have to put anything that's synthetic on my soil. Always looking for natural ways to increase soil. And so I would take root wherever I went. So when we moved to Argentina, I put Comfrey root in my suitcase, and I took it to Argentina with us. And when I got there, I planted it, and then I eventually had Comfrey growing. And it got to the point where I had so much leaf because we were living in a place where we had no backyard. It was all cement. So the whole backyard was cement, and I had probably in my front yard, I had maybe 8 foot by 8 foot square. Biggest, I mean, that's all I had to plant. So I had 4 planter boxes in my backyard, and I had this 8 by 8. But I had all this comfrey leaf. So I was like, well, what am I going to do with all this comfrey leaf? Funny thing about the garden, though, in my front yard, I probably ate maybe 20% because people would come by and just take it. So they'd come by and they'd just take it. We'd go out there and we'd see all our squash is gone. We'd come by, and it was funny because they wouldn't take and just rip out the lettuce. They'd actually cut the lettuce and take the lettuce with them. They'd cut the lettuce and take it with them, and they would grow back. They weren't like, I don't think they were robbing it. They were just like, well, I think I can eat this, so I'll just cut this and take this with me. So a lot of my stuff in my front yard garden, I didn't get to enjoy, but I had all this leaf, and it was actually my dad. My dad's like, well, make a salve out of it. You got all this leaf. So I did. I found a recipe. I dried comfrey leaf from my front yard. Made a comfrey salve, and then I just put it in my fridge. I was like, I have no idea what I'm going to use this for. So I just put it in my fridge. 5 days later, I was playing soccer with my buddies, and I was on defense, offensive player. We were both going for the ball. I know this is very embarrassing. We both missed the ball, and all of his force and all of my force went into my big toe, my big left toe. And I broke my big toe on my left foot. So not much you can do with broken toes. It's like, well, experiment time on myself. I just started to apply this salve every 3 hours just to see what would happen. I had no idea what was going to happen. I went from breaking my toe playing soccer to playing basketball 10 days later. And I was like, okay, this doesn't make physiological sense. What's going on here? So I jumped down this rabbit hole of comfrey, and I found out that, first of all, its nickname in plant medicine, so it's been used traditionally for thousands of years, its nickname in plant medicine was knit bone. So specifically used for broken bones. I was like, okay, this is crazy. How does that even work? And then, so I went and I continued down this rabbit hole, and I found out that this plant is actually backed by science now. So it's not just traditional use anymore. It's got science backing it up. This plant has 6 medicinal compounds, but the one that I think helps most with physical injury is it's a compound called allantoin. And allantoin has been scientifically proven to increase the proliferation rate of tissue cells. So it speeds up what the body does naturally. So you injure yourself by applying this. The body at the cellular level remodels the broken tissue faster, allowing you to heal yourself faster. And of course, the faster you heal, the faster you get symptom relief. Like what I did is like, this is insane. Of course, I did apply it frequently. But since then, I started to offer it to my patients in Argentina. I was like, hey, try this. Try this on the sprained ankle. Or try this on your knee. See what happens. Try this on your spine. And they're all coming back like, what is this stuff? I was like, it's Comfrey. and they so and I started to offer it to my patients in Argentina, and then we ended up coming back to the United States, and then we went and yeah, we just continued to offer to people. We offer on Amazon more than anything now. I still do offer to my patients, but they usually go to Amazon to buy it. So it's a Comfrey salve that I offer on Amazon, which has been helping thousands of people heal themselves faster. So it's really cool to see something that I kind of made on accident help people heal themselves faster that is actually science based now. So it's not just traditionally used. There's science behind this wonderful plant called comfrey. I recommend everyone have it in their backyard.
Okay. All right. Well, now I gotta go plant some in my backyard. Um,
And it grows wonderful in
so
California.
now I got a question for you because this is
Yeah.
most of the guys. Oh, does it? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. All right. So I was gonna say, so most of the guys that listen to the podcast or that follow are, they lift, they train, or at least they try to stay active, right? And with that, guys are sore or tight or dealing with nagging injuries. Um, what would you suggest, or what do you see like kind of maybe the biggest mistakes that people come into you and they're like, I'm all beat up, I'm hurt. Like, what is it that they're doing, or maybe what should we start doing or stop doing in order to kind of get past that? I got a follow-up question to this, but I'm curious to hear what you say to that one.
You're probably going too much then. Um, Listen to your body. That's the one thing I recommend all people, especially when you're injured. Listen to your body because you don't want to stop when you're injured. You don't, because you're never going to fully heal. You want to continue, but just listen to your body. Be very acute to what your body's telling you, and take it to that point, and never pass that point. Take it to that point, wherever that point where your body's saying that's enough, and usually that's a pain point. Like that's enough for now. Let's stay, and then we're going to go to this point. And it always starts with normal just motion. So if you're injured, it's just motion at the beginning, and then you start to put weight on that motion. But it's just motion to the point of pain, then motion without pain, and then weight, and then continue to become as strong as you possibly can and flexible. And for most guys, flexibility is their weak point. That's why they injure themselves. They're not flexible enough. So building flexibility. I read this cool thing the other day. It was like, so men, we need to lift more than, what was it? We need to lift more than yogis. No. And then no, and then stretch more than lifters. So I mean, we have a good combination of both. But for most men, working on flexibility up front is key, because that's where we're weakest. That's where we're going to injure. That's when we're going to take the joint. That's when we're going to take that tissue to a place where it tears because we're not flexible enough. So listen to your body. Take it to point of pain without weight as soon as you can do without weight. Add weight and then become as strong as you possibly can. And don't forget flexibility. Flexibility is key. And again, if you injured yourself, I mean, if you're sore after workout, yeah, that's where Consuela comes in. That's that recovery workout when you're sore. Apply to those areas and just, I mean, it's wonderful just to watch how plants support the body's natural healing capacity. That's their job. It's not to heal you. It's to support you in allowing you to heal yourself through proper motion, proper nutrition, proper rest, and again, the support of the plant. Hopefully that kind of answered your question.
All right. So now, for somebody, no, it definitely did. It definitely did. Definitely did. So now, so let's say I'm that one of those guys, and I am, right, worked out and get sore or whatever, and I'm injured, and let's say I actually hurt myself, right? And I wanna get healthy and heal faster. I know you said, move to the point of pain and then move without pain and then add weight. But, I go to the doctor and they tell me, here's this medicine, go take that. And, it heals the symptom of pain, but it doesn't actually heal the problem. What should I be doing if I want to heal faster without meds? Like, what are like maybe the first 2 to 3 tools you would point me towards?
And that's the thing. Healing takes time. So a medication, I mean, there's a great quote by a doctor. It's like, if you take medication, now you have to heal twice. You have to heal from the medication and also from the injury. Medication will definitely relieve a symptom. That's for sure. It will never heal you though, but it will relieve a symptom. And usually you'll get back into the game. Then you'll re-injure yourself even worse the next time. So healing you have to be patient. You have to be patient with your body. And as the older we get, we have to be more patient but that doesn't mean you stop. That means you continue and you continue to move. Um, but if I had to say three things, yeah, one, make sure you're patient. Modern medicine does have its role. So it does. I mean, if you're looking to heal, if you're looking to maintain health, yeah, you want to stay as far away as you can from modern medicine. But if you're in a crisis or you're in an emergency, they have helped and saved millions of people that are in crisis and emergency. But we need to understand that crises and emergencies are short lived. They never should be long term. So if you're going to use modern medicine, make sure it's for short term. So,
Mm.
and again, if you want to reduce a symptom, yeah, it'll definitely help you. But just remember, consistency through time, patience through time, giving your body what it requires. So again, so look to proper nutrition, proper rest, proper motion, and again, don't forget the spiritual and the emotional aspect. But this, so you need all to fully heal. But a physical injury, look at those three things, and yeah, be patient. Be patient with your body. Don't stop though. Don't stop. If you injure yourself, don't. Okay, I'm just gonna stop. No, you continue to do it. Again, body motion, body weight, more weight, build strength, and make sure you're as flexible as you possibly can. I highly recommend that men get to a point where they can do front and side splits. I mean, and that's with just flexors. That's with the muscles of your legs. I mean, we want to be flexible all over, but as like you want to be able to get to that point where you can actually do front and side splits. That's not something that you can't achieve. I'm not saying you're going to do it from day one to day two. It's going to probably take you years to actually get to that point for some people, but you can. And that should be a goal for most men, is to stay physically active and be able to be flexible enough where you can actually split.
Yeah, I didn't have the splits as my goal, but I do have being more flexible and more mobile as something I'm working on in 2026. Just because as I get older, I have these little nagging things that kind of seem to linger a little bit longer. And I know that overall muscle quality and muscle health, the flexibility and mobility of the joint, the flexibility of the muscle, all plays into it. Like I'm obviously training to be strong and to look strong, but I also have to work on those other parts that take time and are boring and aren't sexy at all. And so I don't want, it's harder for me to get into it. But I definitely am leaning into I've been trying to do yoga now at least once a week. Obviously I should do it a little bit more, or just some mobility and flexibility kind of built into my workouts now, just where I'm getting it a little bit more. Because it's necessary now. But I guess I got to put the splits in there now and try to get up to get up to doing the splits in the next few years.
I I I interviewed a guy, man. I know his social media reel is range of strength. And that guy is strong but flexible. Like I said, he's strong and flexible. Man, I mean, if you want to find him on social media, Range of Strength, check him out. I don't remember his name because I interviewed him a couple years ago, unfortunately, but I do remember his reel. It's Range of Strength, and that guy's got some really cool things about how to maintain strength and flexibility as we grow older. Just really good.
Yeah, I think it's necessary. I think that, that's one of the first things. I even noticed it now. Like there's just certain things that when I was young and I was playing football and I could get pretty close to the splits. I couldn't do the splits, but I could get pretty close. And now it's just like, yeah, no, I'm not even gonna try that. I'm gonna get hurt trying to do it. But again, it's something that's necessary, right?
For sure, 100%. Especially as we grow older, don't let that go to the side. Yeah, flexibility is key. Strength is key. But for guys, yeah, I mean, then I usually tell the women the opposite. Strength is the key because usually they're flexible enough to take on the stressors of life, but they're not strong enough, and that's where they get their injuries. So most injuries in women are muscle,
Yeah.
and because of weakness and in men, it's because they're not flexible enough.
Other than flexibility being one of the things we need to work on, I know you have your four pillars of health. What is maybe the one pillar that guys or dads are neglecting?
I mean, the one I neglected was the pillar of emotional health. That's what I neglected. I mean, I neglected that for way too long. I got to the point where I was at that point was I was like, I don't think this boulder can come off. I'm done. I mean, I got really low. I neglected that forever. And again, this, if you work on the physical, usually the mental comes that way. Because a lot of people are like, I'm going to work on the mental first, then I'll do physical. It's the opposite. Usually, if you work on the physical, the mental follows. I was pretty much physically well. Physically well. That doesn't, and when I say physical well, doesn't mean I was healthy because I was sick mentally. Throughout that whole time, you would never know. I mean, but on the inside, I was not well, and I would say that's something we really need to work on, as men, is work on that. And again, if you want to improve mental well-being, physical well-being is where you should start for most. Because most people, I'll just go talk to somebody or a counselor or something like that. No, work on your physical aspect first and see how you change mentally. And if you don't see that change mentally by working physically, yeah, then go look into it because something might. But what helped me personally, like, was actually nature. Nature's what, again, going back to nature's what helped me realize, like, well, you're not well. Let me help you. Let me help you. Come and work with me. And just being out with nature and be able to just to think through things and figure things out while participating in the beauty of nature. That's what got me out of that terrible hole that I was in for years. Yeah, not a fun place to be in. Um, I'm definitely a lot better. I feel a lot more better. Uh, Not 100%. I still have my days, but nothing like I was before. And it was, again, physical activity and nature for me. Those are the two things that helped me so much. And then working, like I said, in the Four Pillars of Health, reading that book by Dr. Miguel Ruiz, The Four Agreements, really helped me, and I take that and I tie that into the Four Pillars of Health. But the book itself is wonderful. If you want to read the book, it's called The Four Agreements by Dr. Miguel Ruiz. Just excellent book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. All right. So if a guy is listening, right, if dad's listening right now, and feels maybe beat up physically, mentally, emotionally, and maybe even feels like he's behind, what do you think is like maybe one change he can make? As someone who's gone through it, right? And it's still working on it, or still going through it, but like, what do you think is maybe one change that they can make like this week, something actionable that would actually matter?
Well, first of all, I still feel I'm behind quite a bit. So, I mean, I'm I'll give you my opinion. But yeah, man, yeah, I still feel like I'm behind. I feel like I still got so much stuff to do. I got so many places to improve and all that stuff. But I would have to say, since I started waking up at 5 o'clock and dedicating an hour and a half to who I am and my business growth, I've seen a huge increase in productivity. Huge increase in productivity, not just a little bit, huge increase in productivity. Get yourself up at 5 o'clock. And that means you need to be going to bed around 10. So I need to realize I need my 7 hours of sleep. So go to bed on time so you do get that rest, because if we're not getting rest, but try to wake up before everyone else does and give your body some time. So move a little bit. It doesn't have to be a crazy workout. Just move, and then dedicate time to yourself when everyone else is asleep. Well, most of the people are asleep. You're not going to see many cars out on the road. Most people are still asleep at that time. Get up at 5 o'clock. And most people say it's impossible. It's not. If you just do it. And there is a thing that I don't know how true it is, but I've tried it and it feels like it does feel, and if the last thing you think of before you go to bed is usually what you think of when you wake up. So I'm going to wake up refreshed. I'm going to wake up refreshed. I'm going to wake up refreshed. If those are your last thoughts before you go to bed, there's a higher possibility that you're going to wake up ready to go. So make sure you end your day right. So I'm going to wake up refreshed, and go to bed on time because we need rest. We can't. I mean, that's one of the things we have to have. We have to rebuild everything. All the rebuilding and all the healing happens while we're resting. So we have to rest. Um, but wake up a little earlier. Wake up at 5. You can do it. I mean, there was at a point in my life where I thought I was never going to be able to do it again because I did it for so long. I mean, when I was going to chiropractic college, I was waking up for one straight year. I was waking up 1 o'clock in the morning and studying to 6 and then going to school from 7 to whenever. And I was like, I can't do this ever again. That killed me. That just wiped me out. I mean, I remember having the hardest time waking up after that. And I can. So if I can do it, I know you can. If I can do it, I know you can. There's not a reason why you can't. So wake up before everyone else does, and give yourself some time to really focus on who you are and what you want to achieve, and do some actionable steps to actually achieve it. Just continue to work on yourself. Like I said, it's patience. It's the little things we do throughout time. So if you're building a business, it's the little things you do. If you're building health, it's the little things you do. And it's the consistency you are with those little things. Little things will eventually compound. And we know that in finances too. If you start young, you start to do what you need to do, and you start to save a little here, save a little there, through time that's going to compound, and it just gets better. So starting now, and the little things through time, through repetition, compound, and you'll see huge. And that's the thing. We're looking for something now. I saw this thing the other day. It's like this guy working out. And he's like, just a really weak arm. 1 month later, not much change. 1 year later, you're starting to see muscle. 3 years later, now he's in shape. Mm-hmm. So wake up early and be consistent. That's not easy to say. I mean, it's easy to say, not easy to do. But if you could build on that,
it's easy to say, not easy to do.
Yeah, yep. Because we're tired. 100%. We're tired. Our lives are busy. Life is stressful. Unfortunately, we live in a society that builds on stress. It seems like we live a life on that wheel where we're just same thing over and over again. Most people don't like their jobs. Most people have a hard time. I think I just shared something from Alan Watts the other day. He's like, when he was doing his work on humans, he studied humans for 30 years. He's like, the majority of people work jobs they hate to buy things they don't need to impress people they don't even care for. And I mean, and most people are on that wheel, unfortunately. Get off that wheel, first of all. But life is not easy. It's stressful for most of us. We all have different stresses, different time in life. We all have our hard times. No one's never not going through something difficult. It might not look like that, but we all are, me included. So as long as we're focusing on just being consistent through time, we will eventually win. I can't tell you when, but you will eventually win.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's definitely something that guys need to hear. And I think in the way society is now, one, we're trying to keep up with everyone else because everyone's showing us a highlight reel via social media. And two, because time is so important to us, we want everything to happen like right now. And so if it's not happening right now, we must be failing, right? Even if we're putting in the work, if we're not seeing the results right away. It's not working. It's not doing what it's supposed to do. But the reality is that time takes time, and that's just it. Like things take time, no matter who you are or what you do. And there may be some shortcuts, there may be some ways to kind of expedite the time or the process, but it's still the process, and it's still going to take the time it takes.
And a little thing about time. I mean, time's kind of I think this was Alan Watts too. Time is an illusion. There's only now. So if you're thinking about tomorrow, it's not here. What you have is now. So in its totality, time is an illusion. Time is right now. That's it. If you can focus like me and you, I'm 100% focused on you and our conversation. That's where actually time kind of slows down, kind of stops, and you're allowed to truly enjoy and realize that time is an illusion. All you have is now. That's it. That's all you got is right now.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Hey, I want to try something here. I have some rapid fire questions I want to throw at you. Something I've been trying to do on the podcast lately is just kind of just some things I was thinking about, kind of that this or that kind of questions, and see kind of where you go as someone who is into more natural medicine, but also works as a chiropractor. So kind of see what you think. Um, you ready for that?
Sure.
Okay. All right. So here we go. First one. Um, Morning routine or a nighttime routine? Which is more important?
Personally, morning routine. I would recommend the morning routine. But let me give you a caveat. I know this is a quick question, but have a night routine so you actually have a morning routine. So prepare to go to rest. Prepare to rest too. Most people prepare for the day, but they forget to prepare for rest. So prepare for your rest too. Prepare yourself to rest well, so you can actually take advantage of your morning routine. So I would say maybe both. I guess
Yeah, I'll say you
I
cheated on that
cheated.
one. You
That
said
one I
both,
definitely,
but
yeah, I
it's
definitely
okay. I
cheated.
like that because that's important. All right, here's the second one, and I think I kind of know where you're going to go with it. But train through the pain or rest early.
Train through the pain.
Okay. All right, I like that answer. I like that. I'm from the old school. Like it's gonna hurt a little bit. No pain is no gain. Not obviously, I don't want to be injured, right? But no pain is no gain, right? Okay. All right.
And if you're injured,
Next one.
if you're injured, don't stop either.
Oh,
Move. Injured, and key component of healing after injury is motion. Again, don't. I mean, if you injure yourself, continue to
yeah.
move
Okay.
to that point of pain. Though, don't stop moving.
Okay. All right. Ice or heat?
None,
You said none. Neither.
neither. No, I wouldn't recommend either of them.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Because I definitely have heard people say don't ice after an injury.
I highly
They
recommend
did
you
say
don't
maybe
ice.
contrast or maybe use heat, but you say
None of them.
yeah.
I mean, definitely,
I'm on the
definitely,
same. I'm on the same. I've heard the same.
definitely don't use ice if you're going to use any type of modality. Heat, but don't use any of them.
Okay. Okay. All right. Um, I think I know what you're going to say to this one too. Supplements or habits?
Habits. I would highly recommend trying to get all your nutrition from food, because food is how we assimilate nutrition. And if you look at a supplement, actually at the chemical level, food spins just a little bit different than the supplement. So we're really not assimilating much of the supplements. I mean, if you're taking a high supplement, yeah, you will get some of it, but it's never what your body really wants, because food is how we provide our bodies with the nutrition it requires. Eat fat and meat is what I would say.
Oh. Okay. All right. Last one. Strong dad or pain-free dad?
I would say both. You can be strong and be pain free. Um, that doesn't. I mean, and that all depends. It all depends on what strength is. I mean, I look at strength as being able to move your body and lift what needs to be lifted. I'm not looking to be some gigantic person. I mean, I love watching World's Strongest Man, and I love to compete in World's Strongest Man. I would be in probably the smallest weight class, but yes, become as strong as you possibly can. That I But it doesn't need to be painful to get there.
Okay.
That
All
wasn't the
right.
best. That wasn't
All
one or
right.
the other either.
Yeah, you kind of boast on all of them. Both or neither is kind of where you landed on all of these. So either I got to ask better questions, or you gotta be more decisive. One of
I
the
know.
two,
I got to be more decisive.
or
Yeah.
both.
Yeah.
All right, Ben. This conversation was grounded. It was practical, and it was definitely needed. For the dads who are listening who want to learn more about your work or Consuela, where should they go?
So, Consuelda consuela.com. So that's how you, consuela is how you say comfrey in Spanish. So that's why I have it's a consuela. I know it's kind of hard to say, but consuela.com. So it's consuelda.com is where you can get that. There's a 15% discount if you go through consuela.com. Of course, you have to buy it on Amazon, but if you go through consuela.com, they'll give you 50% discount. If you want to get more about me, I mean, again, my books are on Amazon. That's where everything is. But BenPage DC is where I have everything put together on one website. So BenPage DC or consuela.com. And if you want to get, I mean,
Perfect.
the
Perfect.
one social
So fellas,
media,
if you,
oh yeah, the one social media I'm on is Instagram, and that's again BenPage DC or at con period Swelda.
okay. All right, cool, cool, cool. I'll make sure fellas, I'll make sure I have all that in the show notes and the description for the podcast. So if you guys are listening while you're driving or working out or whatever, just come back to the page. It'll all be there listed for you, so you guys can hit those links and get something natural to take care of your ailments. But hopefully in this podcast, you guys were able to pick up something that you can use. I know that there's some stuff that I heard that for sure I'm gonna be taking advantage of. I definitely need to get something that isn't Advil or Motrin. And really lean into more of the natural stuff as again as I get older, I'm more conscious of taking care of my body. I obviously now have to set a goal to be able to do the splits. I don't know what time frame I need to put on that, but but you know, you guys will be seeing me posting pictures of me trying to do the splits, or video of me headed to the ER because the splits didn't go well. But either way, I thank you, Ben, for for giving me the encouragement, for spending the time with us on this episode and taking the time out of your day to spend with us is greatly appreciated.
Oh, I love hanging out. I mean, it's one of my favorite things to do. So I appreciate you for having me on. I just loved hanging out, and thanks for all your awesome questions. Yeah, wonderful opportunity.
All right. All right. So, fellas, again, if this landed for you, if it was something that you heard that made sense, make sure you go ahead and thank Ben. You either, you know, shoot him a message on Instagram or head over to the website, and I'm sure there's somewhere you can leave a review and say things are great. Um, I appreciate you guys for listening. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, pass it on to another dad. I know you got a dad friend that's broken and needs some help. This is an episode for him to you know to learn how to heal himself naturally. So make sure you share this episode, and I'll see you all soon. Man, I really appreciated the way that Ben approached this. It was grounded, it was patient, it was practical. Listen, for the dads that are listening, healing isn't a shortcut, it's a process. And strength isn't just about lifting heavy, it's about showing up consistently, moving your body, taking care of your mind, and being present with your family. If this episode landed for you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a dad who's feeling beat up physically or mentally. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. And as always, stay present, stay strong, and I'll see you soon.